You got that S-N-Y-D-D-R-S-O-T-D-W-N. Sit down with Snyder. Snyder, sit down. Hello and welcome to the Snyder Sit Down.
Hi.
Special guest Ben Tracy.
Stop it.
Of the Minneapolis Tracy's.
Thank you. It is the evening of a lovely Friday, and it is like this nice wind going right now.
It's easy breezy, beautiful.
Yeah,
Harlem,
cover girl. Yeah,
Actually,
no.
I can see one of the bridges from here. That like big gray one. So tell me about your most recent project.
So I was in West Virginia for about a month, like mid-May to mid-June, doing Peter and the Starcatcher.
Yes.
Fantastic show. It's been on my bucket list for a while.
What kind of audiences does it attract?
So we definitely we pushed it as a family show,
Okay.
which I would say is appropriate. It's about childhood, obviously, but I think a look at childhood that you can't fully appreciate until you're older, and looking back at childhood. It's a little our town in that sense of like.
Yeah, I think that's so pivotal why adults have to play those roles.
I agree. So I played 4 different characters in it. I was a schoolmaster, so Peter's mean schoolmaster at the orphanage. I was Mac. He is an incompetent sailor. I was Sanchez, a Spanish pirate. And they never can get his name right. That's about. He really only exists for like a scene or two. Like he's a quick in, quick out.
It's like Dory and Nemo in the first film. Elmo, Fabio.
And then Act 2, I got to stay as one character the whole time, which was lovely. And his name is Fighting Prawn.
Do you have a favorite adaptation of Peter Pan?
Honestly, not to plug the show again, but Peter and the Starcatcher, I really do love. Also, as a book too. It's a book before it was made into a play. Disney bought the rights for it with I think the intention of someday making it into a movie too.
What do you have coming up next?
So next, in September, I'm going off to Florida. Very excited. I'm going to the Hippodrome Theater. It's called Let the Right One In. It's based off a book, and then 2 movies have been made off of it. A Swedish film, and then the American adaptation of it. A 12-year-old boy who's like ostracized, bullied at school, and that's who I'm playing in the show. It's an all-adult cast, again, children being played by adults. It's a niche. He's very bullied, very ostracized by his peers, and he meets this new girl who comes into town who's around his age. And she's very odd, only shows up like during the nighttime, and this like playground in their apartment complex. And then is like very mysterious and like always goes back with like her father figure into their apartment, and like he doesn't see her outside of like these little interactions. But he's like they're very immediately drawn to one another. It's not a spoiler because it's pretty much she's a vampire. Ooh, shocker. It's like horror, but it's also very romantic, but not like it's children, so it's not like a romance novel romantic.
Right.
But very like just like sweet and pure in a way.
Yeah. Like a little bit of innocent love.
Yeah, and so it will like contrast a scene of like this very sweet scene of them like dancing together and like finding each other, and then she's like eating someone in the next scene. Everything I love.
It's a perfect project.
It's horror. It's like awkward characters. It started in Scotland. This show, National Theatre of Scotland, I believe.
Sounds like maybe a better version of Zombie Prom.
The interactions, especially between the boy and the girl, are they're 2 very perceptive children. Mm-hmm. So they listen a lot more than they talk. So they really take things in off of each other. So it's cool. I think it's similar to like how Band's Visit was exploring that and like trusting living in the silences. Shout out to Leanne. But no, I think that's something we'll probably play with in the rehearsal process of like really trusting that and like seeing what works. Which is interesting because a lot of the stuff I've done recently since college has been like farcical, multiple character tracks, not realism at all, and so it's all been like louder, faster, funnier. and because silence kills those kinds of things. So it'll be fun to kind of try to play living in that a little more, and only playing one character is going to be really nice.
How do you feel about coleslaw?
Okay, so first of all,
I couldn't even say that with a straight face.
I know. When the Coleslaw Rebellion happened, you must know that this was based off of, like, the coleslaw you get as a side at, like, it's just like a restaurant when they just, like, throw it on because it looks fine. I don't think it looks nice, but, you know, it looks nice on the platter. So, this is, like, mayo-based coleslaw, where it's, like, some shredded cabbage and just a slab of mayo mixed together into this, like, goopy, like, cold, weird, in a plastic cup, and it's disgusting. I'm sorry, I will not hear anything else. And you know it. You might eat it because it's given to you. But
I like to use the word pointless.
Yeah, obviously. But the thing is, and this is gonna be, you're gonna call me Hillary Clinton after this, because you're gonna think I'm flip-flopping to my views. I love Hillary. This is a shocker. I think there are some versions of, I'm not gonna say coleslaw, I think there are some versions of slaw out there. Slaw. Not the coal. Get rid of the coal. There are some versions of slaw out there that can be decent.
Apple slaw sounds great, because that's what apples. Does it have cabbage in it?
I honestly don't remember, but I remember, like, getting it with a meal and being like, it was pretty soon after the Coleslaw Rebellion occurred, and I was like, this is dirty. I should just say either don't give it to me or, like, throw it out. But I'm like, you know what? If I'm gonna judge all slaw, I can't judge all slaw unless I've tried all slaw. You know?
Okay, so
I've tried, like, everyone's tried coleslaw at one point in their life. You're given it as, like, not a kid wouldn't eat it, but, like, that age where you're like, I'm gonna start trying new things.
And then it's reunions.
Yeah, and it teaches you not to try new things. And that's the problem with coleslaw, is it encourages you not to try new things, because you try coleslaw and you're like, well, I'm never gonna take an adventure again.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah.
Did you see any plays or musicals this past Tony season?
See, I saw Amy and the Orphans, which I liked a lot. Jamie Brewer got, I think she won supporting actress for Drama Desk. Don't quote me on that. Jamie Brewer is an actress with Down syndrome who I think really brings representation to the community of people with Down syndrome, and I think it's really important for her to be up there, because honestly, she was the strongest person in that cast, and so many opportunities I think are taken away from people who fall into different groups, and it's just a reminder that it's like, why aren't we telling these stories? Because there are people out there who are just so stunning, and seeing her, I'm like, she gave a masterclass in acting too.
Bouncing off of that, what do you want to bring to the world of theater, TV, and film? Queer
theater is very important to me, obviously. I love, another show, I'll riff off of that, Afterglow, which is, it's had a phenomenal run. It's been running for almost a year now, or just over, I forget. But it was expected to be like a 1 month, 2 month run thing, and just kept getting extended after extended. It's finally officially closing, but the successes they've had have been incredible. And one thing I really liked about that show is it was about 3 gay characters dealing with, relationship issues, but nothing that was inherently gay about them. But still very queer in its own way. Because I'm not about, like, queer theater that's, like, where they just act straight, basically, and it's like, no, I still want, like, it to be, like, authentically queer, but I'm like, I think, I don't need shows that, I feel like a lot of queer theater to this day, for good reason, has either been about AIDS crisis, because that was a huge, it still is, but, really was a huge part of the community, and then about non-acceptance. And I think we're at now, not that those things aren't still persistent, but we're in a new era where I think there are other stories that can be told about being queer that don't focus on, the plot line isn't about being queer. But the characters themselves are still very queer.
100%. Just like most things revolved around straight characters.
Wow.
It's not about the fact that they're
Interesting.
straight.
Yeah. And like
It's
once
just a
again,
story.
like yes, you could say like still things about relationships and stuff,
Yeah.
but and some things that maybe come up in a gay relationship, a lesbian, a GLBT relationship, that might be specific to that type of relationship.
Do you have any closing statements? Anything you want to share with the world?
I'm very happy, and I think that's like an
Good.
exciting thing.
That makes one of us. JK.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think obviously we all go through like ups and downs in lives, but we just had a class, a mini class reunion for a wedding, and I was telling Allison, who was not able to make it but was there in spirit, how nice it was to see everybody outside of school and just living their life. So I think you can get very burdened down by workloads and things. And it was just nice seeing everyone with this sense of 2 years has changed people, I think, a lot. Not changed people. 2 years has allowed us all to like kind of find ourselves again.
Yes.
And it was just beautiful to see. I think everyone really, for the most part, seeming just very happy.
Yeah. Chilling out.
Yeah.
Breathing.
And yeah,
Relaxing.
I like that we're all kind of in control of our own lives right now. Yes, it's hard.
Yeah.
Rent is hard.
20s are no joke.
Yeah, no, they're hard, but like,
Mid-20s
but they're so exciting, and
it's exciting.
I really do think I'm gonna look back at this time in my life and be like, this was right.
Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me. This was lovely.
This was a pleasure. Oh, a lightning bug.
You call them lightning bugs?
Yeah, what do you call them? Fireflies?
Fireflies, yeah.
10 million fireflies. I'm weird because I hate goodbyes. Yeah, lightning bugs from Michigan. Michigan people are very stubborn about the way we say things.
I get. In Minnesota, we're the duck gray duck state. You know that? Maybe people outside of Minnesota probably don't even know that
duck,
it's like
duck, duck, goose?
Yes, it's duck gray duck. That game historically does derive from Norway, Sweden, one of those countries,
Okay.
and it's like something all in a different language that does literally translate to duck gray duck. So by the name, technically Minnesotans are correct, but you know, as a society we move on, and you know there are a lot of things that were correct in the past that are no longer correct. So my Minnesotans might be ashamed of me, but I'm for the duck goose.
I'm proud of you.
I think I think duck goose is a more progressive option here. Yeah.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you, Allison.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time on the Snyder Sit Down.
Or on what's her show called on Shut Up and Listen?
Shut up.
Catch us next week on Shut Up and Listen. Hopefully Princess Mia will show up this time.
Hey, that'd be great.
That'd be great. I'd talk to Anne Hathaway any day.
Oh, right?